ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This from my city, yeah, this from my team. If you talking and talking me nice, I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights, better get right, champion. I'm a team. If you talking and talking me nice, I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights, better get right, champion.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Thunderstruck Thursday right here on YSN Live. DJ Yoakley, Anthony Hartwig with you. Anthony, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good. We have a big show for you today, which makes me all happy and all jittered up. We got a lot of interviews that we're going to be pumping your way very soon.
We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right to it. Ladies and gentlemen, two-time state champion coach. Two-time. Steve Ward had a chance to sit down with Ty Bartell, I believe, this past week. And Ty Bartell, by the way, happy birthday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Happy birthday. And had a lot to say and a lot of good stuff to say always from the head ball coach. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Ward, two-time state champion, Austintown Fitch, softball.
What's up, everybody? Ty Bartell in with another edition of Coach's Corner. This next guy, I mean, he doesn't really need much of an introduction. He's the back-to-back defending Division I state champion, head coach of the Fitch Falcons, but he's also one of my personal friends, Mr. Stephen Ward, joining me today. Coach, how we doing?
Hey, what's up, Ty? Sun is shining. Life is great. You know, we're getting some great work out on the field, and we're excited to get this going.
I mean, this is some great weather. You can't ask for anything better for softball weather in terms of practices. Talking about practices and talking about the hunger that I know is in a lot of these young ladies' bellies. What is this team looking like practice season 2? What are you seeing out there on the field?
You know, and just as a coach, you sit there and you look for different moments of where you see the team coming together, the team gelling, and really that happened yesterday. While we're doing a live session and we're rotating pitchers in and out, and we have our varsity lineup going against these pitchers, and you see the pitchers' confidence grow because they know who they're pitching against, and that's no easy task. Imagine having to do that every single day, going up against Kaylee, Ray, and Kylie, and Abby, and Morgan, and everybody. It's like, okay, all right, where's your confidence? But, you know, you could see the team rallying around our young pitchers. You could see the confidence and the compliments and everything going on. And I just sat back for a minute and I was like, wow, we're going to be something special this year.
Yeah, let's talk about this team. Let's do a sort of meet the team segment too, and those players that are going to highlight this Falcon squad this year.
Okay, well, we'll start. We'll kind of start at the catcher spot, and then we'll rotate all the way around the positions, and you know, talk about each player there. At catcher, Kylie Folkline. What amazing leadership she's shown this year. Just really just a mature athlete. Knows that, you know, she has a big future ahead of her, and she's treating every moment seriously with us, and understanding that being the catcher, she's the direct contact with our younger pitching staff, and she's doing a heck of a job. And, you know, yesterday, you know, she's just hitting them over the fence, and then she hit one, and, you know, I guess I'll skip over a spot and go to Kaylee Ray, because I thought the shot off the bat was going, and it's going up against the fence, and there's one person in the state of Ohio that I think could make the catch in the outfield, and it's Kaylee Ray. Just kind of gloves it out of nowhere, steals a double, triple. And, you know, you look at Kaylee just batting .740 as a freshman, and all-American, like nationwide all-American player in high school. And just, again, you know, the burning competition that you talk about, that begins and ends with her. She, you know, she doesn't have to warm up. That girl stays ready all the time. We could pull her right from lunch and put her in a game, and she'd just ball out. That's just the type of player that she is. Morgan Roby at third base, you know, when I'm looking back at stats, you know, I kind of look at it and I'm like, wow, where did we, you know, like maybe make a mistake or something? She's had one strikeout in 2 years, and that was a called third strike that I think she'll give you a little frowny face on in terms of what the call was. But, you know, locking down third again, you look at her, I mean, in the single digits, you count on one hand the number of errors that she's made in 2 years at third base. None last year. I mean, so you're probably down to 2 or 3 fingers now. So just, you know, so happy to have her back. You know, her personality. Oh my God, she just lights this team up. And, you know, they're already planning out different days for what we're going to do in the dugout and stuff. And I just sit back and shake my head. And then realize I'm getting old because half the stuff they say they're going to do, I just don't understand. But I'm like, okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Let's not get in trouble with the umpires this early, you know. Coming into shortstop is Alyssa Rogers right now, and she's a new one to us, but she's not new to the school or competition. She's played heavy travel ball, and she's also been a two-time regional qualifier in, I believe, both a short sprint and in the relay races. So having her come along has just been a blessing. I mean, obviously speed, power, you know, we're really excited to see what she can do out there. Going over to second base, Sammy Severin. Hey, if you're coming down to scrimmage, I saw, you know, Coach Dugan here. If you're coming down to our scrimmage Thursday, Sammy Severin is running a canned food drive for the YWCA. So bring that down if you can and donate. It'd be amazing. But you talk about a girl that just her career is littered with big hits. You know, Walsh Jesuit game 2 years in a row. She's out there hitting the ball, hitting RBIs to start the game off or start the runs off for us. So you just talk about a player that's just locked in all the time. Walking down first base, Abby Toe, just, my goodness, she gets stronger and stronger every year. When we do front toss, she's only allowed about 5 pitches because we will lose all the softballs. And I'm not talking about that they'll just go over our fence. They go over the other fence and into the road, and it just becomes a danger for everybody. So we want to keep Austintown safe. So, I mean, for her, and then Verbeling to Detroit Mercy, what a great school for her to go to. We're very excited to see her future there. Backing her up there in right field, Rachel Spalding. What an amazing basketball season her and Sam had. I mean, just flat out, that just shows the character and the athletes of both of them, especially Rachel. I saw a really strong leadership side that, you know, as you get older than your senior year, it's really coming out. And, you know, we're excited to have her. And I don't think anybody could play right field better than her. Just with the way our sunlight is, everything, she is just dead on all the time. You know, I mentioned Kayleana Ray, and, you know, wow, it's, you know, again, her speed. Our right and left fielder can go to the lines a lot more because they know they have K-Ray in center field, and she's going to get to the left and right pretty quickly. So in left field, we got some battles going on. We got Beta Bird, who was our courtesy runner last year. Speedy, quick, intelligent, you know, just does everything 100%. And then we have a freshman coming in, Seneca Coates, heavy travel ball player, lefty, could slap, could hit, got some power to her. Got a cannon of an arm, and it's great to see him battling it out. And it's great to see the competitiveness and, most importantly, the sportsmanship, how they treat each other. It's amazing to see them. You know, speaking of left field, I got to give a special shout out to my girl, Miana Jorge. You know, she was a sophomore last year in left field for us, part of the, you know, 2024 title run. And unfortunately, she had season-ending shoulder surgery, and she'll be out for the year. But she's going to be in there in the dugout with us. We got plenty of jobs for her to do, and she absolutely is just the lifeblood of the team. She, you know, having her there, it just builds everybody up, and we kind of call her the team mom too, just to keeping track of everybody. So Miana, can't wait till you're back, kid. I'm going to see you soon.
And I know she'll maximize that opportunity too.
Oh, just amazing kid, amazing family. So, you know, we're, you know, super sad to see her lose her junior year, but we know she's going to come back stronger. You know, pitchers this year, we have 5 of them that we see, you know, rotating, and all of them are going to get the opportunities in the scrimmage coming up here. You know, we have 4 of them lined up, and we have our juniors, Miley Somerville and Juliana Farmer, both of them through a lot of JV. And, you know, in our live sessions right now, you see them just growing in that confidence and seeing them start to take lead and command in position. We're excited for them. Both could put the bat on the ball, especially Juliana. Well, actually, they both went yards last year a couple times in JV games. So excited for them to be up. Our freshman, Courtney Fedoric, she, you know, plays travel, was a Honey Badger, and still comes in, starts lighting it up, has great spin on the ball, has some zip to it, you know, really strong. Tori Greathouse, our lefty. You know, this is a girl that's just dedicated to her sport time and time again. She is just softball crazy. I'd be surprised right now if she's even watching this because she's watching a softball game. But I'm sure she'd probably split screen it because anything softball she's just into. Then lastly, our freshman, Cece Buzico, you know, just a delight to have. Learning, you know, to get around some of our bigger batters and really finishing her pitches. We're excited for her. She could also get into the outfield. She could also pinch run for us. So, you know, dual threat there. We're excited to have her. Some freshmen in contention. Again, I think we're going to have the largest varsity roster that I think we've ever had. And we carry some pretty big ones. But, you know, everybody contributes. Everybody adds to the dugout atmosphere. And you know that crazy dugout atmosphere. So all these kids are just going to be they're going to be 100 in the dugout, no doubt. You know, we have 2 freshmen, Zara Burt, which is Veda's younger sister, and man, she's another spark plug coming in. You know, she's like the utility knife. We could put her anywhere, and she's just going to perform at a high level. You know, great contact hitter. And then we have Bella Baumgart, who had an awesome freshman year in basketball, coming, you know, off the bench for Coach Ratchek and really, you know, giving some height and some strength under there in the post. And same thing that she's doing here. She's a catcher. She's a first baseman. She's a third baseman. And I tell you what, you know, don't miss a pitch on her because she's going to send that thing yard. So we're really excited about her. A junior that's coming up with us this year is Cameron Scandy, you know, another quick bat. Another kid that could steal some bases for us. You know, she's battling in that shortstop spot and, you know, gives it all that she got. So we're excited to have her.
When we talk about this team, and you kind of hinted at it, and I mean, with the pitchers that you guys have this year, you lost 2 key contributors in Ayla Ray and Sydney Watts last year, and they're both tearing it up in college, respectively, right now. When you talk about, though, replacing both of these players, too, how beneficial is it for you, for these pitchers? What kind of line do you have to walk as well, too, with their confidence having to face Murder's Row lineup every time in practice, too? But what kind of benefit does that have that they're seeing such elite competition batting wise in practices, in team scrimmages before they even step out on the field in a live varsity game?
First thing, you know, looking at Ayla's career down at YSU and looking at Sydney's career down at Georgia Tech so far, they are impact players. We love seeing them. This Friday, we're going to go see Ayla play Cleveland State. And then next Friday, we're going to go see Sid play Georgia Tech. So we're so excited for our Falcon family and excited to get to see them and cheer them on. And yeah, it is a fine line with it. I tell you what, Coach Becky, you know, we talk time and time again that, you know, she should be coaching in college somewhere. Is she draws that fine line. And, you know, I have all these plans every week that, you know, we draw up and I'm like, well, I want to do this, and this. She's like, well, let's pump the brakes here on this day, maybe do this a little bit differently. I was wanting to focus on this. And so we really work out a practice schedule. All our coaches have input into that. But again, it's, you know, reassuring the girls because, again, they are getting out. And when they're getting out, you know, normally our players don't take that too kindly in terms of batting. They tend to really be hard on themselves, but they know the process of which these pitchers are going through, and they know how difficult our lineup is. So, you know, when they're making those outs, when they're getting the ground outs or they're getting us to pop out or stuff like that, our girls that are hitting those are really congratulating, like stopping, saying, hey, you know, Courtney, Miley, Juliana, Tori, that was a great pitch. That pitch was awesome. Or if they catch somebody looking, they're like, wow, that good. And so the team atmosphere is great right now. It's understanding that we're all together in this. We're all going to build each other up. You know, the cliche that, you know, there is no I in team, that's really coming to life again. We like to see it every year because every year it's a new team. You know, every year you're losing people. We've lost some very strong leadership. And this year it was interesting to see who's going to step up, and really everybody stepping up into shared leadership, into their roles, into doing their things. And I'm so excited for all of them. It really shows their maturity. And then the pitchers' maturity, even though they're younger in terms of innings, they're really developing at a nice rate right now. And I'm very excited for them.
I kind of hinted at the hunger that's in these young ladies' belly earlier in the interview. But what have you seen from a coaching perspective from this team too? I know there's inevitably going to be a lot of people talking too, saying, okay, number 5's out of the circle too. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to get Fitch this year. How are the girls taking it too? That, I mean, and we look at the playoff run last year. This is still a team that put up runs on college level pitchers last year. So talk to me about just the position players and the girls on this team. And are they kind of playing with that chip on their shoulder mentality?
You know, they have a certain maturity about them. They know the game, they know the sport, they know what's out there, and they know what we have to do to be successful. So for them, is there a chip on their shoulder? Do you hear that, maybe we're not going to be this and that? I'm sure they hear it. But again, we focus on us and we don't talk about, hey, you know, we got to do X, Y, and Z. We're really focused on maximizing our potential. And I know that might be a little bit of coach speak in terms of talking, but really, if we do what we should do and we focus on that and we don't focus on anything else other than, you know what, concentrating on being the best player we could be in the team system, it's all going to take care of itself. I have no doubt in my mind. And are we hungry? Yeah, we're hungry to go after a third title, and we're hungry to go after the AAC. Which again, you know what? Shout out to all the coaches, Mike, Fred, Nicole, Rick. All what an amazing job they all do, because I think we are the top-notch conference in all of Ohio, all divisions. So let's go, guys and girls. It's going to be a fun season.
You talk about that meat grinder of a conference that you guys are going to have on schedule, but always you guys schedule a really fun non-conference schedule filled with good competition. What are some of those highlight matchups that you're excited for in the non-conference this year? And just talk to me about your kind of conference preview and the way it's looking out right now from your perspective.
So out of conference, we're going to start out with Menor right there on Saturday, the 22nd. Coach Joe is just an amazing coach. We really developed a strong friendship with her. And, she texted me the day after the season started. So what was that, February 21st, I think. And she's like, hey, we were up at midnight getting ready for you. What were you guys doing? They were doing a weight session and then did a practice at, midnight to whatever. And so they're always well coached. They're always going to bring a great team down, and they are in Division I. So it'll be a great early preview to see, what's out there and what's going to happen. And then somebody we haven't scheduled, a good old Federal League foe of Uniontown Lake coming in. Coach Bobby and I saw them when they played Walsh Jesuit last year in the playoffs. We did a little scouting, and we saw they're just a tough team that, we wanted to get them on the schedule. We thought they were super well coached, and we want to see what we could do. Coach Dugan, Ursuline, they're going to be rocking and rolling this year. So we're excited not only to scrimmage them, but we have them on the schedule right now as well. Riverside, always tough. Gancha's coming back in the circle, and she really held us down last year. I think that score was 2-1, 3-1, something right around there. And, we're really excited to see them. Aurora, Lakeview, Lakeview's coach just does such an amazing job out there. So we're really excited to see them. Conference, Mike Hernan, congratulations again, Hall of Fame coach now for our coaching association, well deserved. They're going to be very strong at the bats, so you're not going to be able to take a batter off. And I know that they're going to be kind of like us, have a couple pitchers rotating through, so we're excited to see them. Boardman probably has the most experienced pitching staff right now with Strides and Safara coming back. Both are very effective pitchers, very great ball players. So they're going to be a tough team. And I tell you what, the young team on the block that, not really like young, because those kids have been playing high level travel ball, is Howland's team. Coach Watt has them out there. They're going to be ready to rock and roll. So don't sleep on Howland. I'm really expecting them to make a big run. And out of Warren Harding, Coach Riles there along with Czar. Czar is just a phenomenal player that could be a transformative player for your program to kind of say, hey, this is high level. Let's go. We're doing this. And so I'm really excited to see them as well. So again, top to bottom, you take a snooze, man. A girl's going to put that about 220 in left field. So, you can't take a break anywhere in this conference.
I want to also give you the chance to shout out the coaching staff. I know it's often unchanged and it's usually the same coming in and year out too, but I always like giving you an opportunity to give some love to that highly touted Falcon coaching staff.
Well, I love them to death. We've been together for, over a decade. And, Coach Bobby, he's definitely the player's favorite there. And just something, he just clicks with the players. They click with him. It drives me crazy, and he knows it. So I think they do it even more. But he just has the right words at the right time for them batting. And I love it. Coach Spalding mentioned her earlier, just her calm demeanor, her approach, her very methodical way that she's looking at things, to where I could call her right now and say, hey, on April 29th, what are we doing with the pitchers? And she would flip through her book and say, well, I have this mapped out that we're doing this. That's how methodical she is and how approached she is in it. Coach Fiddler got the team mom there, just always cheering each other on. Like, she is the go-to person to build people up. Like, without her, it's just not the same in the dugout. So she's away right now at state competition for DECA, which is our business group. And she took some of our players with her. I'm like, hold on, it's season. What are we doing? She's like, Coach, it's state. I'm like, hey, let's go. Let's get after it. So Morgan and a few others are down there, and wishing them the best of luck. Coach Fiddler just does an amazing job both teaching and coaching. Coach Jerry Bruff, just, coming up from JV, he's always at our varsity games, always cheering on, always offers words of wisdom, usually does infield for me if he's available. So, like, his relationship with the girls from JV on up, it's just amazing. And Coach Raymer, another player favorite, just has the right words at the right time to just break the atmosphere and calm everybody down and get us all back on the same page. And so when you talk about the coaching staff, a day doesn't go by where we're not talking to each other in the off season. So we're talking about, honestly, probably 365 days that we're talking, and not just about softball. We're friends outside the field, but inevitably comes down to softball, or we'll talk college softball and see, what's going on in that landscape, or, hey, are we going to go down and see the youth softball tonight and things like that. So I'm very blessed to have the people around me that I have, and I never take them for granted. I'm always thankful for them.
Final question for you, Coach. I want to give you the chance to just kind of describe what you see the team's identity being this year. I mean, you shouted out your first game against Mentor, this 22nd too, but also shout out the Falcon community too. They were lining the fences last year. Let them know why that you guys are going to be the show in town again this year.
We're going to be explosive again, and that's where we're going to, make our bread and butter. We're going to be explosive offensively. You're going to get to see some of our defense highlighted that, in the past 8 years maybe hasn't had the chance, quite honest, to be as highlighted as we could be. And I think that we're going to be a very solid defense, a lot of fun to watch. Just going live again, seeing, Kayliana Robson, people seeing our outfielders really moving to it, cutting it off, getting to the right spots. The way our infield can move and cover ground, we're going to be an exciting team. And again, I tell you what, give these pitchers just a little bit of time to grow in their confidence. They're going to be A1. So I'm really excited. We're going to do our best we can for our community. We love our community. We love our school system. They do so much for us. They always support Falcon softball. Again, I'm blessed to be in a school system that truly loves Fitch softball, loves all the student athletes. And again, what a blessed time we're living in. We have you guys covering us. It's amazing. And I think I'm going to put you on the spot for a second, Ty. If you had to name just one moment in Fitch softball that you've been covering, what's one that comes to mind?
Oh man, one
I know,
moment
right?
That one's tough because there's been so many. I don't know. I feel like the last 2 years too. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Ayla Ray hitting a home run in state championships back-to-back years too, and just I don't know, the final out of the first state championship last year and getting that major state championship, team state championship in the first time in years was big, I think, from a Falcon alum too, to be able to witness and be behind the call of that.
Well, I asked you that, Todd, because we love and appreciate you so much. You know how much the girls care about you. They love seeing you down there. Like if you're even 5 minutes late, they're looking around like, hey, are you gonna text Ty? Where's Ty at? I'm like, he's coming. Don't worry about it. You and Anthony, YSN, you guys just do such an amazing job for all the athletes in the area, always shouting you guys out. It's amazing just how you put every sport on the map. DJ, just amazing vision. I'm expecting this to keep growing. So guys, all the love to you. And that's why I put you on the spot, because it's awesome having a Falcon alumni up there doing what you do and calling out these girls and showing them the recognition and love that, we all know they deserve, and you give it to them. So thank you.
Well, man, if we had another 10 minutes, I could go through your whole lineup and tell you about 2 or 3 moments that I have for each one of those girls too. And they definitely are the highlight of the sports season for myself. I'm no doubt excited to get back out there and see you guys on the diamond. I'll be out there March 22nd, and we'll be seeing each other real soon.
Thanks a lot, Ty. I appreciate it.
There we go. So there you have it. Ty Bartel with another great interview with Steve Ward, who we know we love very, very much. And to say that there's a lot of people excited for the softball season because what Fitch brings to, what did they lose? They lost a lot. What did they gain? They gained a lot. Mm-hmm. And there's more in that pipeline coming up, Ant. And, Coach Ward pretty much stamps it that they're not going to miss a beat, or at least that's the goal. So, I trust him 100%, 100%. And I'm hoping that's not coach speak, but to replace some of the young ladies that they have to replace, that is a tough act.
We can't undersell the importance of Sydney Watts and Ayla Ray to their success last year, but especially what Sid brought to the pitching, because you're not going to miss too much of a beat on the offense. They have a absolute electric lineup. They're going to be hard to pitch to. But, you look at some of these games that went 2-1, 3-1, might not tilt Fitch's way this year. They could. I'm not going to try to completely undersell or disrespect the pitchers they have because they're going to pitch by committee, and they're going to have a lot of different arms they can throw at you, and that can be just as tough as one dominant pitcher. If you have, someone that can come and throw a drop ball for 2 innings, and then all of a sudden the lineup has to adjust to someone that can throws up in the zone with more velocity, that can really keep a offense off balance. But I would elect to say that they're going to win a lot more games with their offense this year than they had to last year. And they won a lot of games with their offense. One of the things that makes me confident about Fitch, you look at a lot of these scores last year, there weren't a lot of pitchers duels. There were a lot of 10-0s, a lot of 12-0s. People couldn't pitch to their offense, and they're going to have just as much trouble pitching to the offense this year because everyone minus Ayla Ray and Sydney Watts in that lineup is back. So you still have D1 talent and Abby Toth and Kylie Folkwine and Keliana Ray that you have to deal with. Morgan Roby does not strike out ever. I've coached against her. I called pitches against her in the summer, had her down 2 strikes, thought this is it. I called the drop curve. I thought this is it. She's going to swing at this and miss it. No, does not strike out ever. The one strikeout in 2 years. And like Coach Ward said, it was a questionable 50-50 call on the strikeout, but that's tough too. The lineup's going to be big. The lineup's going to be huge for Fitch, and they're going to have to rely on their lineup, I think, a little bit more this year than maybe they did last year, but they're still a very formidable team. Same thing with Canfield. I mean, Ty's going to have Coach Kernan talk a little bit later on today, so hopefully we'll be able to play his interview maybe next week. But Canfield's kind of in the same boat where, you lose Melina Toth, who's a D1, elite pitcher, of course. But you have all the offensive pieces coming right back to that team that's still going to be really hard to pitch to. So I'm excited to see how this conference kind of lines up.
Well, yes. I mean, all of that. Softball. You forgot more softball than most people will ever know, and I think that's why everybody respects your opinion. I think it's an uphill battle to replace some of the talent that we saw both Fitch and Canfield. And you can sit there and you can point out obviously the keynote players that Ayla Ray and Sydney Watts. You can Melina Toth but there's also more players. There's more players. And that chemistry is something that you have to have. Mm-hmm. We saw I don't want to say it was goofing around because it wasn't, but there was a chemistry that both of those teams had last year that mm-hmm. when you looked in the dugout, it didn't matter what happened. You couldn't tell if they were winning or losing, in either dugout. And it was never tight. It was never, if I strike out, I'm going to lose my spot, or if I make a mistake, I'm going to lose my spot in the field. We saw errors in both of those championship games by Fitch and by Canfield, and if not in the championship games leading up to it. But there was a chemistry that rallied around it, that it was too strong for the other team to get over on them. And I think that's one thing that you have to be very, very careful, very, very careful, and very cognizant of, right? Because when you lose players from a team like that, you're going to have to kind of redo the chemistry. Like if you take one ingredient out of that mix, out of that recipe, it's going to taste a little different. And I think that it might be a different era for Fitch. It might be a different era for Canfield. It might be a different era for South Range, for Champion. The list goes on and on. But I think they're going to find their way. I really do. I think Coach Ward talked about the leadership on this team. And you talk about the coaches. You talk about the stability, the consistency that they have. And I think that is a big, if not massive part of how they're going to be successful yet again here in 2025.
Yeah, and I think this whole conference, and we're going to segue into another coach in this conference, but so to talk about the AAC in a whole, I think Steve Ward's right. I think it's the best conference in the state of Ohio in softball, hands down.
I don't doubt that for 1 second. And someone who will probably verify that right now joins us. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the Howland Tigers, well represented once again in this young ladies, a reason for it. Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of the softball team, Miss Nicole Wade.
Hi,
Coach, how are
guys.
you?
Thank you for having me on this beautiful sunny day in Northeast Ohio.
I know.
It doesn't get any better than this, Coach. You've got to be chomping at the bit to get outside with your girls.
We're super excited. We were able to get a scrimmage in earlier this week. We played on our turf. We've been fortunate the last couple of years to really utilize that and get some scrimmages and some games in. Yesterday, we went out and we always do an annual field cleanup day. I think it's really important for our girls to take pride in the field that they play on. So we went yesterday, cleaned up the field, and it's being lined and bases out today, and we're practicing on the dirt today.
I love that, Coach. Talk this to go off of that. Talk about what kind of home field advantage that gives you guys to have that pride in your home field and to really feel at home in your own dugout when other teams come into town.
Yeah, part of coaching for me is, teaching these girls the important things in life and teaching them, to take pride in things and have good morals and just help them make them better humans and better people to join the world someday. And that's what I take pride in part of my coaching, not necessarily just the wins and losses. Obviously, you want to win, but those things are important to me as well. So last year, I know our district really helped us over the last year or two. And also our parents are great. We have a parent who does banners for us and does pictures for us that the girls love. And we were really able to make our field look really good last year. And everybody that came to our field last year was like, wow, this field looks really great. We haven't seen it look this great in a long time. So we're super excited to get back out there this year. Yesterday, it looked really good when we were leaving. And I know that the maintenance guys went out and drug it last night. And I saw a picture of it and can't wait to get down there today.
Now, obviously, there's a lot to do about where you play, but I think what I'm most impressed with, Coach, is how you teach the girls to play, the sportsmanship, the leadership that you command from your players. How did that come to you as a coach, a teacher, a professional? And how important is that on your list of things to teach these young ladies as they work to move to graduation and then onto the real world?
Yeah, for me, I'm fortunate to have a really diverse staff. We're a team of a bunch of females staff. I have Coach Baxter. She's coming up to join us this year from JV. We unfortunately don't have a JV team this year. We don't have enough numbers to run both teams at the same time. So Coach Baxter has been all around a long time in our program. So she'll be up at varsity with us this year. We have Coach Haley Andrella. She'll be back as pitching coach. Hannah Burke will also be joining us from JV this year, helping with pitchers. And obviously, Coach Perry brings so much knowledge to our team. She knows the sport so well. She coaches high level of travel ball and knowing the game, having played it herself in college. We're just able to really provide the girls with a lot of different skill sets. Myself, I think for me, most importantly is the teaching part of me first. I think that is what carries these skills over to the girls for me, is just making that important for them to just have a foundation when they leave us and to go out in the world. I always tell them, I just want them to be good humans.
Your coaching staff, the names you just listed off, they don't need any introduction. Everyone kind of knows, who you have. But your players also don't need extra introduction because you have a lot of talented players that a lot of people respect in the area, in the conference and outside of it. How about a little meet the team segment where you go over the players that'll make big impacts on your team and the players to watch this year in Howland?
Sure. We're going to be young overall this year. We're returning 6 starters this year. Obviously, we have Brooke Tater. Brooke has made a name for herself over the last 4 years, not just in our conference, but through our district. Brooke's a great kid on and off the field. Nobody would argue that, and everybody would want her to be part of your team, whether that's on the field or off the field. So she's going to be really great for us on the mound this year, and she also will probably play some third base and first base for us. Also returning, we have 2 juniors. We have Callie Lumen. Callie is going to probably play some first base, maybe some third base, and she might also be on the mound for us. We also have Marissa Ray. She's a junior as well. Marissa will be in right field for us. And our sophomore class is pretty big. Last year they were freshmen. They've made a name for themselves as well. Bree Dieter will be back behind the plate for us as our catcher. She's great at the plate as well. We have Madison Smith. She's going to be in center field for us and also at shortstop, depending on who's on the mound for us. And also Maya Kabancic will be at shortstop for us and also on the mound for us. Also coming up to join us this year, we have Tabby Schlatt. She's moving up. She's a senior this year. She will also be contributing with Brooke, helping to lead our girls. Only having 2 seniors, I tell them it's really important for them to band together and keep these girls together throughout the year. And also having that discussion with my juniors as well, just not being so many of them that they need to really help, the seniors keep things together this year. We have a couple freshmen coming up to play with us that I think are definitely going to get some playing time. Probably people are going to start talking about. We are going to have Mary Moy. She's going to be playing second base for us. We're going to have Ella Newbrow. She will most likely be left field for us, maybe seeing a little bit of third base. We have Brooklyn Vaness. She might see some first base, maybe some outfield for us. We also have Quinn Bundy and Sid Patrone coming up to join us as well. And we also have Talia Rischel. She's moving up to join us. Talia's going to probably definitely play some third base for us and maybe some outfield as well.
Wow. There's versatility all over Howland right now.
For us, it's going to depend on who's on the mound.
Well, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But I mean, to be able to have those pieces that you can shift around and still complete the puzzle, that's got to be a benefit for a relatively young team, Coach.
Yeah, we're definitely young. And we keep we're still like moving girls around. The other night in scrimmage, we were trying to put girls in different places. Some spots really aren't solidified. We are gonna basically have 2 lineups depending on who's the mound. Girls have to shift around. We're always telling them when we do warm-ups, when we're going over defensive things, that we tell them all the time, some of you have to watch, pay attention to this, and this position, because you might be in a different position. So just pay attention to those positions. And they really have taken well to our off-season training. We feel like this group overall is very coachable. They've responded really well to the drills and the things that we've been going over. Overall, they're a really fun group. We think that we're going to have a lot of fun with them this year. So we're excited.
Coach, before you came on, we were talking about the conference that you play in and how just elite it is with 2 state champions returning from last year and other teams that have players that are really good, next level players, including yourself. Talk about playing in this conference and what it does for you and how much you look forward to it.
Yeah, anybody that knows anything about softball around here, I would definitely agree with Coach Ward. We probably have one of the toughest conferences in the state, definitely in the area. When you have 2 state champions amongst a smaller conference, it's definitely, a lot of competition. We're excited to get to playing this year in the conference. I think that everybody is going to compete well against each other. Obviously, Canfield and Fitch, we know that, they've been state teams here in the last couple of years. Boardman, I think, is going to be the one that sneaks on everybody this year. I think that they have a lot of talent all the way around this year. And, Fred does a great job out there in Boardman getting those girls ready. And Warren's been playing well the last couple of years as well. So I think that overall we're going to have a fun conference this year. And I think everybody's definitely going to want to follow it.
Young teams oftentimes can put themselves behind the 8 ball from a standpoint of one loss leads to a couple losses, leads to 3 or 4. How do you keep your team kind of even keel? I mean, this is obviously they're learning on the fly a little bit. Varsity softball, varsity sports in general, it's a different animal. And it's going to come at you quick because you got about 30 days that you got to fit in 30 games.
Yeah.
It seems like. So how do you keep the kind of level-headedness in that dugout and on the field?
Obviously, we do rely on our upper classmen to help keep those girls in check in terms of that. We talk about it in practice a lot of times when we're doing drills. We talk about like one bad throw leads to another bad throw, leads to another bad throw. And we talk about somebody needs to take control of that and get it back in line. And I think that that's what we're going to need our upperclassmen to do this year. But I'm not really that worried about it. A lot of our underclassmen play high-level travel ball, and I think they're still bringing a lot of experience. Even though they're freshmen, I think they're bringing a lot of experience to the varsity field, to the varsity play, and our sophomores as well. All of those starting 3, played every single varsity game last year, and they both all 3 of them play travel ball. Maya's a 3-sport athlete, so she definitely knows how to compete. Madison plays high-level travel ball, and Bree does as well.
Coach, as you prepare for the season, you start to think about what your strengths are going to be and what things you really want to capitalize on and lean on this year as a roster. What do you think some of the big strengths of the Howland Tigers are going to be this year that you're going to try to capitalize on?
I'm hoping that our strengths continue to be what they have been the last couple years. Brooke on the mound is, a strength for us. Brooke has, a wide range of pitches that she can throw. Brooke is able to keep her composure on the mound. She's always 100 miles an hour, so we have to keep that reined in. She's fun to watch, whether she's on the mound or at third base or at the plate. So that is going to be a strength for us. Maya was thrown pretty well in the scrimmage the other night. I think she's going to do well for us on the mound. Maya brings a lot of varsity experience to the team, not just from softball, but her other sports as well. But I think overall for us, is going to be the versatility. We have a lot of players. I think they can play in a lot of different positions. Schmitz can play pretty much anywhere you put her on the field. Dieter is versatile as well. Mary Moy could play a lot of different spots. Tiger Rischel's able to. Ella. We have a lot of versatility, flexibility going on. And I also think that our offense is going to continue to be a strength for us.
Naturally, there's got to be something that keeps you coming back. There's got to be something that gets you excited about this season. What are one or two things that you're really excited to see about this particular team?
I'm anxious to see how this team drives together. Obviously, we have 6 returning players, but we also have so many new ones up in the mix. But I think overall, I'm excited because I feel like through the off season, they just really get along well. And I'm looking forward to that as a coach, as the person that deals with all the personalities and things that go along with coaching girls. And I just think overall that they're going to do really well together. What keeps me coming back, I think, is the small things throughout the year and even the off season. I'm fortunate and unfortunate to be in the building with my girls, but overall it's positive to be in the building with them because if they need something, I'm here. But when they come to me and tell me, thanks coach for this, give me a hug, just saying thanks for being there. Those are the things that make me come back.
Coach, my last question for you is just what are some things that you have been taught by your girls? You talked about earlier how much you like to teach and how much that part of coaching really you enjoy. But I'm sure you've learned a lot from this group and you've learned a lot about yourself and coaching from the players that you coach. So what are some things that you think you've learned from your players in return?
The girls, especially the girls play high-level travel ball. They know a lot of things about the sport. And the thing, I'm always open to them at practice. Brooke a lot of times will say, hey, coach, do you care if I say this to them? Or maybe like Schmitz or Dieter or somebody like that will say, hey, do you care if, hey, this, do this, maybe that. And I'm totally open for that. This is their team too. And it's not a dictatorship. I am at the helm and, the captain of the ship, but it's their team as well. So I really like when they want to get involved, and I've learned to let them take that role as well. And that I think that it helps teach them ownership as well.
Coach, we can't thank you enough for stopping by, taking time out of your busy day and educating young minds to hang out with a couple of idiots that like sports.
I love you, idiots. Can't wait to see you at our games.
Yes.
We're in the same boat. Thank you so much for stopping by. We can't wait to see the Howland Tigers take the field very, very shortly.
Yes. We are opening up in Tennessee this year. I forgot to mention that. We're taking a trip. We haven't traveled in 10 years. So baseball and softball are headed down to Pigeon Forge on the 26th. So we're both opening up our seasons down there, and the kids are all really excited. We've put a lot of work into this trip, so we're super excited too.
I mean, anytime you travel, there's that bond that seals that team together. So we hope we see that from the Howland Tigers as well. Coach, thank you so much. Good luck to you. We can't wait. Thank you so much. Appreciate
it. See you guys soon. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole Waite. There she goes. I clicked the wrong button. Sorry, Coach. Appreciate you. Man, and the AAC, I am ready to go.
It's nuts, man. And after Kernan gets interviewed a little bit later on today, we'll have all 4 of the coaches that we cover inside the AAC and softball ready to go, previewed. It's it's a ridiculous conference. It really is. When you talk to players, if you put an AAC All-Star team together, they'd probably win state 4 years in a row with the players they have. If you put them all on the same team, there's no one in the state that would probably be able to beat them.
I mean, that's tough. I mean, we were literally just alluding to it coming off the Steve interview. Then you've got Nicole. I mean, how are we so lucky? And I guess that's where the disconnect is. People are sitting there. I mean, yes, they don't like each other when they're on the field, but when they're off the field, they love each other. They absolutely respect each other. They love playing each other because iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel. However you want to cut it up here. But we are very, very fortunate. We are very, very lucky to see the softball that we have, not only in our valley, but in that one particular conference. That is good softball. That is stuff where you go get your popcorn, you sit in the stands, and you watch good softball and young ladies that are going to be playing at the next level, that already are playing at the next level. You heard Steve talk about Ayla playing at Youngstown State and heading down next week to Georgia Tech to see Sid. I mean, I don't know that there's anywhere else in the country that you have this much talent in one particular spot in a region this small. I mean, Youngstown as a whole, not that large, right? Yeah. Usually it's Cleveland and Columbus and Cincinnati and Dayton and, I mean, all those big cities. And then you've got Youngstown coming up saying, hey, we took 2 championships last year, by the way. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I mean, we're fortunate, buddy.
And one of the things I noticed last year when the OHSA gave us those programs at the state tournament in softball, they had the state of Ohio mapped, and they had every state championship with a dot on it. And there were only, out of like 12 or 13 teams that have won multiple state championships, there were only 2 programs outside of the Northeast quadrant of the state of Ohio that have won multiple state championships. So when you talk softball, you talk Northeast Ohio, it's it. That's it. I mean, we have literally the 2 most successful programs in the whole state ever, both in Northeast Ohio, and Talmadge and Champion. And then you just go through all the other success we've had in the quadrant in the state. It's ridiculous. It's really it's something else.
And you look at the other. I mean, the comparable sport is baseball. When you're talking about softball, we got some dogs there too. I mean, we have some absolute dogs. You saw what. The state championship that South Range was able to bring in 2018, literally out of nowhere, right?
West Branch last year.
Yeah, West Branch. I was done. Yeah, I mean, and we're always hanging in that conversation. We've seen, and not just that, the championships that we bring in, but the championships that we don't bring in, and the kids that we send on to the next level. I mean, look at that Canfield team alone from a couple years ago.
Yep.
Ben Slanker. Landon Beidelshees.
What AJ Havrilla's doing right
AJ
now.
Havrilla, the hottest hitter in entire D1 right now. You can go on. And Nate Shaw also. I mean, you think about that one particular team. And, oh, by the way, there was a team in Niles that knocked that team off that are sitting there, and they're going to, for the next 30 years, they're going to say, you remember when we knocked those guys off?
Right.
That was one of the all-time – and Gary Niddle's probably sitting there just shaking his head.
Cursing your name right now.
DJ, you sack of subs. But I mean, honestly, like as much as it was a surprise, a shock, that was one of those moments where you're like, oh my gosh. And probably they were too. That was their moment, in Niles to have that. And they'll always have it. But you look at the amount and the talent that we have here in Diamond Sports is incredible to me. And I don't think people appreciate it enough. And the one thing, and you and I have had this conversation, people come up to us and they talk about football, number one, right? And the talent that we have in football, and we do. But we send more players to college playing baseball and softball than any other sport. It's not even close.
No, it's not.
Not even close. And people say, I mean, we had Squeak on yesterday. I mean, that's going to be a D1 guy. His brother, D1 guy. But we are filling up D2, D3, D1 rosters all over the country because of the talent that we have on the diamond. And that is something that parents should sit there and go, okay, here's a carrot for us. Here's where, because we don't do that. It's always, literally always basketball, volleyball, softball,
Right.
football, basketball, baseball. But we send the most kids on rosters in softball and baseball, and that number, again, folks, not close.
Howland's going to have a couple of representatives in Slippery Rock after next year is over. I mean, Alyssa Masucci went down there after she graduated this year, so she's starting her career. Brooke Tater's already signed to Slippery Rock, and we have Addie Warzela from Champion going to Slippery Rock. So Slippery Rock might have a whole Northeast Ohio collaboration down there when it's all said and done.
Well, and those are some of those coaches that we see at the All-Star games, right? They're planted in the stands and they're saying, okay, and again, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we're bringing in players from different age groups. It's not just a senior-laden All-Star game, because to be honest, sometimes seniors are like, we're good because I've got to go travel softball or travel baseball that night. But I'm of the opinion that you shouldn't be poo-pooed because you're a freshman, a sophomore, or a junior.
Right.
Because we've all seen it, we've all felt it, that when you're playing a game and you take a wrong step or you have unfortunate injuries, maybe you never play again. Maybe you never get it back. Maybe, like, there's a lot of different balls that are in the air when you're juggling sports, no pun intended. But it's one of those things where I don't think you should be flushed just because you're a freshman, a sophomore, or junior. I think there's the ability to be and shine in those games, playing the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, if you look honestly at some of these teams, whether you're talking, volleyball All-Star game or basketball All-Star games or baseball, softball All-Star games, there are a lot of teams that, like, hey, the most talented player on that team, maybe be a sophomore, maybe be a freshman. And to say that they can't be at the All-Star game because they're just not old enough, I think would be silly. It would demote the All-Star game. It would demote the level of play that you'll see at the All-Star game. And I think it would kind of be silly to just, throw them away because they're not a junior or senior. It's kind of wild to me.
It's not an All-Star game. It's a senior classic.
Right.
If you do that. And
and if you have that, that's cool.
Great. But it should be
marketed as
marketed. There, I was going to say sold as such, but marketed is such a better word, a cleaner word to have, and not to. Yeah, see, juggling balls.
Yep,
that's a real thing. I didn't make that one up. That'll be a meme.
I wish I had something to juggle on my desk.
I certainly don't have any balls to juggle here.
Nope. I'm not doing softballs. That would be dangerous.
Which leads us into the All-Star game for basketball. Perfect segue that we completely butchered. We are going to be holding a YSN All-Star game on the 22nd of March, which is next Saturday. Not this Saturday.
Nope.
Not 2 days. Next Saturday, Borman High School, 5 p.m. Girls will tip off. Then we will have a 3-point contest, girls, 3-point contest, boys, 3-2-1 contest, girls, and a slam dunk competition, boys, followed by the main event of the evening, the boys All-Star game. But I think that's skills competition.
Last year, the skills competition went off. Like that was the place to be.
I don't think it's going to be much different this year, pal. I really don't. I think there's an excitement around this skills competition that is unequaled. It's unrivaled. There's a lot of dunkers that are starting to say, yes, we got some more today. We're excited.
And then next week, we're going to have the draft too. We got to spin that wheel, the wheel of destiny.
Yeah, we might have to speed that up. That might be a Monday night thing.
Yeah.
Because these coaches are pretty angry at us because they're like, hey, we got to get these uniforms to these kids. I get it. I'm sorry. It is coming quick. There's a lot going on, believe it or not. So we will tell you when the draft is going to happen. I'd like to have it Sunday or Monday. Which works better for you there, Mr. Hartwig?
I would say Monday night. Let's just go for it.
Monday Night Raw.
We'll have all the rosters locked down by Sunday. That'll be our closing date.
Yeah.
It'll be
So
shut
if
and closed, locked down.
that's the big thing, we want to make sure everybody knows if you feel like you're an all-star and you haven't been contacted, check with your athletic director. We still have quite a few that are out. That we have now. Tomorrow's the official drop dead date for the first wave for all-stars. We will then work on replenishing the list.
Right.
So, for instance, if you're from X school and your player declined it, can't play in it, whatever, we will be reaching out for the replacement player for the all-star game. Not that you're not an all-star, but there's the tiebreakers that we have to go through, and then we'll reach out and then potentially then you're on the all-star team. So be ready for that. That will be throughout the weekend. We will be reaching out via Instagram,
Yes.
and social media, Twitter, all that stuff. So it's going to be fast and furious. So be ready. If your number's called for that, because it is quick, and then everybody's like, hey, I want to get my graphic up. We're working on those too. We're cutting through those as quick as we can, because it is, again, it's a process. It's an absolute process. But the 22nd of March, check-in is at 4 p.m. You can, even if you're in part of the boys game, you can check in then. Tickets are $5. $5. Last year they were $10. Why are we in a recession? Perhaps. Why are we going backwards? Well, here's why. Number one, the money goes to a good cause. It's going to the Rich Center for Autism over at Youngstown State, which we believe in. Huge organization that we believe in, and so many do. But it's also a scenario where people were mad last year because we were charging $10 and they were only sticking around for one game. So here's my plea, if you will. If you are going, like, we're only charging $5, but if you're going to be around for both games, maybe drop a 10 on it, because we're not keeping it. We're sending it right to the Rich Center for Autism. Not to make you feel bad or lose sleep at night, but it costs money to put this game on, and obviously we want to put on a nice show, and we're getting 280 t-shirts that we'll be giving away to the players and all kinds of stuff.
If you're not going to drop a 10, at least buy a shirt.
Well, I mean, and we're going to have 4 different colors as I understand it right now. So we'll have, it's the color that I don't know this, but I'm guessing this is the color of, it's the color of the Rich Center. I believe these are the colors that are involved in the autism
red, blue, green,
puzzle.
and yellow, if I'm not mistaken.
Red, blue, green, and yellow. Those are the colors that we have. And it'll have a motivational quote on the back, and then YSN on the front, all-star game. So the players will get that for participating as a what's the word I'm looking for? Favor. Yeah, so they don't have to worry about it. So if you're looking to buy one for your kid, you can do that, but they also have one that's given to them. They will play in their jerseys of their high schools. It'll either be home, which is the white jersey, or the away jersey, which is whatever color you want to bring outside of.
Not white.
Not white.
Anything but. It's the only sport where we care which uniform you wear. Volleyball, baseball, softball, wear whatever uniform you want. But basketball, we got to make sure these teams are on different sides.
Yeah, it's a little bit challenging because we've had it where we've had to make trades because someone brings a white jersey instead of a red jersey or whatever, and we just go, okay, change it. Injured players, we have a couple injured players that are going to join us. Why is this so important? And to me and you, because they do so much throughout the year, and then their season comes to an abrupt halt, a screeching halt, if you will. I don't think that they should be looked over because of that. I don't think. I think that's
they're all stars.
They are. They're all stars. Seth Herrick from Columbiana is one of them. I think he broke his leg.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
That Matthews game.
I mean, he was a lock. He is a lock as an all-star in our area. Yep. He's done so much for the game throughout his career. It would be a shame if he wasn't, that he isn't able to play. But I want people to be able to cheer for him because of what he's done and made this area better in so many different ways. Same with Dee Dee Ryan at JFK. You know, we're passing the invite to her. You can't tell me she's not an all-star.
Right.
So we're not just gonna, move along. JFK, as I understand, will have representation. We're working through that right now.
Yep, I just got the confirmation this morning from Gianna. So Pomp will
Gianna
be there.
Pompilia is part of the YSN All-Star Game.
Graphic
that's
coming
better than a
soon.
graphic.
Graphic coming soon.
That's better than a graphic. She gets a shout out, and I'm sure Sean is loving it right now. But I mean, again, some teams have more than one All-Star. There's teams that probably have a starting 5 should be on any All-Star team.
Right.
With 60 plus schools, we can't do that. But we're doing the best we can, and we hope that you appreciate it. I don't know anywhere in the country you're going to see this many players on one floor. I think that's what makes it great.
Right.
There's some people you'll never be able to please.
That's true.
I'm not trying to please them. I'm trying to say this All-Star Game to me has always been and will always be a tip of the cap to the student athletes that do it all year long. And our All-Star Game, there's music playing. We got a really cool national anthem this year. Really cool national anthem. Thanks to Donnie Riccatelli. And every time we do something cool, Donnie's always in the midst of it.
He's got his hands in it.
Always.
You know it.
The judges will be announced very soon. I think we already let it slip. But
Yeah, we have a couple of them confirmed.
we have one coming on the show tomorrow.
Yep.
That's going to be here. We're excited for her to pop in and say hello and to tell her story. We'll let you know at the end of the show, which we're stalling for right now because Clarence Andre is coming on at 1:15, the head coach of the East Palestine Bulldogs softball team, and a guy right here, forever in my heart. That guy. I mean, I was just a puppy when I met Clarence Andre, and he and I connected because of our love of baseball. So to finally get my interview with Coach Andre, can't wait. He's going to tell you how terrible of a kid I was. Terrible of a student.
Terrible student. Couldn't stay awake.
I was always awake. I was always that guy that was trying to crack
Always
jokes.
disruptive.
There it is. That's
on
the
girls
one.
in class.
There's my family's listening, Anthony. But I was doing that.
Before we get totally off of basketball, once again, good luck to Louisville. They're going to be playing in the state semifinals on Sunday. And then if they win, which I think they will, we're going to be rooting for them hard. State championship Friday. So no matter what, their guys will be at the All-Star game. We've already had them confirmed. Braden Gross and Bo Siegfried will both be Louisville representatives at the YSN All-Star game. I'm happy that HSA scheduled them for the Friday championship so they can get there no matter what.
And the one thing that I would really like to do is if/when they win the state championship,
let's bring the trophy.
Bring the trophy with you. Bring the players with you. We'll honor you at half court. Like I think that's the one thing that we do better than anybody else. Not we as in YSN. We as in this area. We wrap our arms around champions and we root for you. And there are a lot of people rooting for Louisville from YSN right now.
And then the YSN run in Pennsylvania came to an end last night. Unfortunately, Mohawk fell to Forest Hills. It was a really good game. It was a 3-point game with about 4.5 to go in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately for Mohawk, Forest Hills just went on a late run to kind of run away with that game late. But congratulations on a great season to Mohawk. And Bobby Fadden is an absolute stud. And he put on a show. He had 18 points last night in their loss. Beaver fell on Tuesday as well. But we also have an absolute, one of the best players in YSN on Beaver and Brady Mayo. So both those teams, congratulations on a great season. And we can't wait to see you back next year.
Absolutely. And hopefully at the All-Star game. You just
All-Star
mentioned
game, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
We want to get Bobby at the All-Star game. That's their nominee. So hopefully they get back to us. I know they've been busy. You got some, and we try to really pump the brakes because we know we're the last thing on the list. But Steve wants to know about when we're going to have a YSN football game.
That's tough. That's tough.
there's liability in those football games. There's a lot of hoops to jump through with those, so probably not on the horizon. We will
And then
continue to take it into
You
consideration.
also got to think like, when would you have it? Would you have it the summer before the season, right? There's probably be where you'd have to have it,
I don't like that at all.
and then like
Just imagine somebody
you
blowing
can't
out
have
their
it after
hamstring.
you can't have it after the season in December.
Well,
You
no,
could.
you'd have to have it in the summer, like the
Yeah,
way they do the
right.
North-South game, or the North-South games in April. But like the Quad County game, I always want to say
Penn,
Quad
Ohio
City.
game, right? When's
Penn, Ohio game.
Ohio?
Yeah, that's in June.
So you'd have to do one of those. It'd be tough.
And I don't like those. I don't. They do a great job with it. I don't like them because the kids are half checked out. And if you've ever talked to anybody from those games, they're going to tell you the same thing. The kids are half checked out.
Right.
The playbooks are half baked because you have a week essentially to get the playbook and get it installed. I will tell you that if we do, and this is probably when we do football, it's going to be a flag football tournament.
Yeah, like a skills competition kind of thing too. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking some cues from the NFL and trying to have a fun kind of spotlight for these kids to come and shine their athleticism, their skill in a way that's not going to, hurt them.
I don't want to embarrass the game. I mean, there's
Right.
a lot of people that love football because it's football. I don't want to turn it into the Pro Bowl. We certainly don't want anybody getting hurt, but we also don't want anybody, slacking off, and then someone goes, you know what, I've had enough, and takes. It's a dance. It's a dance, and you got to do that dance, but it's a lot easier to do that dance in other sports, man. It's a lot easier.
Unlike every other sport that we do an all-star game for, volleyball's on that line, but basketball and baseball and softball is almost a pickup sport. You can get on the field or court and just play. Volleyball, you have to work a little bit of a rhythm with your setter, which, we give the teams a half an hour each on the floor to do that. That's fine. Football, like you said, you have to spend a week getting at least some sort of a playbook in. It's not a pickup sport. You can't just go and play a pickup football game and have
you can, but
have it resemble football and be safe too at the same time. Like, it'd be really hard.
Rob's asking about 7-on-7. That's one that potentially could be, but then again, you're taking out linemen. So,
Right.
I don't know. How about Scott Resitar every day? Go YSN. Which brings me, as Steve Hemberger says, Coach Armini. That's dirty. Steve,
That's dirty.
That's dirty. And I will listen. I'm going to make him do push-ups every day for the rest of his life until he realizes that John Armini, Coach Armini, will crumble to the hands of Zaire Yokley. It will happen one day, and we will be right here to report it. Coach Armini is my arch nemesis on the flag football field. Arch Nemi. I do want to I want to bring to everybody's attention that I was really geeked up today. Big day, right? We have our interviews. Got Coach Andre coming on in about 5 minutes. At noon today, Pat McAfee, big night was tickets went on sale, and it sold out in less than 5 minutes. I didn't have a chance in hell to get those tickets and do what we did. While I was doing my happy introduction, people were just buying tickets, just throwing money. I go back whenever Coach Ward goes on, a little behind the curtain. They're sold out, dude. I am bummed right
You're gonna have to fleece them now.
I'm really disappointed because Scott Resitar wanted to go. There was a bunch of, Jeremy Atkins Hill. We were gonna get a nice little group. I was gonna buy a bunch of tickets. Nothing. Hey, Pat McAfee, good for you. One of my absolute heroes.
I wonder how many spots they sold. How many spots they sold out in that amount of time. We talking 60,000 tickets sold in 5 minutes? That's ridiculous.
I don't know if it was 60,000. I don't think it was. I think it was 18 or something like that. But
that's when you try to get a concert ticket to the Beatles back in the '60s. Like you call
It's Taylor Swift.
you Taylor. I didn't want to expose myself to using Taylor Swift as a Chiefs fan.
Oh,
then
that's
I get,
what's
oh,
going to tip you over the
Oh,
scales.
you're a Swiftie, Anthony. Of course, you use Taylor Swift.
That's what's going to tip you over the scales.
But yeah, you try to get tickets to a Taylor Swift concert. You call, 5 minutes after they go on sale. You're done. You're done.
Dude, I watched, like, I was on the PPG Paints Arena website, and it started all blue. And then all of a sudden, it was just pop, pop, pop. Every time I clicked one, Anthony, every time I clicked one, they're like, this ticket no longer available. This ticket no longer. That sucked. like I've never been on that side of it where it's like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Hey. No, like I went from like the floor to the balcony, like to the upper deck, peanut heaven. Still couldn't get a ticket. I'm bummed out, man.
I'm guessing your bank account might be a little happy though. If I'm not gonna, I mean, I don't know what the prices were, but I'm guessing they weren't necessarily the cheapest in the world.
Tickets were, the lowest was 20, which is cool.
Not bad.
The highest was 95.
That's not terrible at all.
No, and I'm like,
never mind.
To see a guy, and everybody, like, we want to be the Pat McAfee show. Like, we want to do that, what he does on the national stage, we want to do for this region. There's a lot of tongue in cheek. There's a lot of, we take that and it's an homage to what they do, because I think they do it better than anybody else. I think they have a different way of going about it. I think we can be serious. We can button things up, but we can also kind of you can let your hair down a little bit. I try to. There's not much there, but we let her down.
I'm losing it quick, so we're both going to be in the same boat in a couple of years. So
I swear to God, if you cut your hair off and you go with a beard, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to be.
I got the beard going, but
you're going to have to be like clean shaven or something, or a little stubble. I don't know. Don't take my look, Anthony. Don't take it. Don't take it. But yeah, that bummed me out. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I get a pinch me moment. Pinch me moment. Carlos Baerga.
Oh.
I get to sit down with Carlos Baerga a little bit. I'm going to try to convince him to do an interview with us. But we have Jim Davis and the whole crew over there for the Austin Town fireworks stuff that they do, like around the 4th of July. We were there last year. We're going to be raising money for that. Carlos Baerga, a night with Carlos Baerga is on Tuesday. So tickets are available. So if you haven't already got your tickets, check it out. I'm going to be emceeing that. Looking forward. Like, again, 10-year-old DJ Yokley is freaking out because, like, that was him and Lofton and Bell and Omar. Those were my guys. Yeah. Like, that was what really pushed me over the edge in baseball. Were watching the Indians in 95 because, man, the Pirates, they broke my heart, man.
Nothing to watch there.
Broke my heart. I still have the balls, the baseballs from Burger King from like the 95 Oral Hershiser.
Yeah.
So to be able to talk to, and we've already interviewed Carlos Baerga, and I'm still like, is this real? Like, we were out of pocket a little bit. We were in Austin Town. We were at Hollywood Gaming when we did it, and I couldn't. But I'm sitting there next to Carlos Baerga, and I'm like, what is happening in my life right now that this is going? So I'm excited. Hopefully we can do one of these with Carlos, because it'd be cool to talk to him, pick his brain a little bit prior to the big event on Tuesday. So if you need more information on that, please send us a message and I can get you lined up for tickets on Tuesday. So that's that was the team. That was the team. And they ran up against a buzzsaw in the Atlanta Braves. But goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we welcome in a guy that is, and I think I'm looking down. I see a little twofer down there, maybe, but a guy that is so special to me, guy that is near and dear to my heart, because when I was just a puppy, in the mean streets of East Palestine. This guy kind of wrapped his wing around me, talked baseball with me in school, which to that point nobody did, and just the entire time let me know that it's going to be okay. And I think this is the first time we've ever got to sit down with him, he and Anthony, I know you've been able to do it, but ladies and gentlemen, this time we bring in Mr. Coach Clarence Andre. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, DJ.
Good to see you. And we got Taylor Foster as well.
That's why I had to bring backup.
And to bring back up.
Hey, that's one of the first things you ever taught me. You always bring backup, and you did it. Thank you. I appreciate you. Taylor, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You guys are wonderful. Coach, you've been doing this, for so long from a coaching standpoint. This year, 2025, going to be a little bit different for you for a multitude of reasons. What keeps you coming back? And I guess kind of pull it back a little bit further the curtain. What got you started in coaching?
Well, just like you, DJ, when I sat in school and study hall a lot of times, I'd rather be doing anything else. Baseball was the sport I loved the most growing up, even though I ended up playing football. So my love of the game, and I started coaching baseball right out of high school. I was coaching Pony League, and then I went into Class B. So it's been 30 years coaching. And what led me to softball? I have 3 daughters, and it was just a natural transition. So, and what keeps me going now, I have my daughter Kennedy's a sophomore, and the Foster girls, I've coached them forever. So just watching these guys grow up and want to see them make it through their senior year, and maybe we'll just keep going with it.
Yeah, when you talk about, coming back and one of the things that you learn real quick and when you keep coming back is the game changes every year. There seems to be growth in softball every year. Things are new, strategies change, teams get better. How have you kind of handled navigating all the changes over the years and trying to keep with the times?
Well, I think for our program, the main thing we're trying to do is build our numbers back up. Our youth program's been down a little bit. So we're working right now. My wife and I are trying to put together a little program so we can get some of the youth kids out with our high school girls, try to, spread our knowledge and our love of the game, try to build those numbers back up. As far as our high school team goes, we're just pushing off-season stuff, open gyms. We've had a good turnout, and Coach Dempster and the football team has invited all of our athletes to join his weight program. So we've got a few girls going to that every day. So it's just those are little things just to build our program.
Taylor, how have things changed for you? I mean, you've seen, this program from, the time that you were a puppy and now you're the full-size Bulldog. How have you seen the program change and how have you been how do you feel you've been an integral part of it?
I think this year I'm definitely most excited for my senior year. I'm really excited for this group of girls. We've definitely grown a lot as a team. Me and my sister, we started out as freshmen, like playing varsity and everything. So it's definitely tough getting into that, but we started leading the offense, and I think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, Taylor, when you think about, all the things that you've learned over the years, what do you think you're taking the most into this year as far as experience and lessons along the way?
I think patience is a big thing. Definitely this year, I think it's going to be more beneficial having patience in the earlier years, learning from your mistakes. You just have to give it time.
Coach, Taylor mentioned patience. I mean, it takes a lot of patience, when things aren't going your way. For you, you're looking to rebound off of last season. How do you kind of put one step in front of the next as you continue to build this program up?
I think one of the things, if we go back 2 years, we struggled. We won 5 games. Last year, we won 10 games. We were 500 in our league. We played for a sectional championship, came up just short, but it was a good game. We lost 3 seniors who started, I think, a total of 230 games. So we lost a lot, but I have Taylor and Maddie coming back. They'll be 4-year starters. I have Cammie Kreidler coming back. She's a 3-year starter. So what we're doing is we're taking the experience. We had a lot of freshmen that were thrown into the mix last year. Kennedy Andre, Gracie Ford, Emma Ginger, all these girls played a lot as freshmen. So we're just hoping that getting kind of thrown into the fire last year, that's going to help us build and take those steps to keep moving in the right direction.
You know, and a lot of those girls that you just mentioned are also just well-rounded athletes that we see every sports season. With one more year of experience under their belt varsity with volleyball, basketball, how much do you expect them to come into softball with more kind of poise in the varsity level?
Well, I think and Taylor could attest to this as well. When those girls are now sophomores, you could see the confidence that they have. They belong on the varsity field now. Last year, it was tough. You know, we threw people out. We put them in positions sometimes where maybe they hadn't played growing up just because of the need. But now I think you could see a lot of those girls. Olivia Magnus is a 2-year basketball varsity starter. Sydney Uriachi has played basketball. So, yeah, having that other experience, being out on those varsity fields, I think has helped them so far this year.
Taylor, from your standpoint, I mean, you started as the young lady that looked up to, you know, everybody that wore a brown and white and orange uniform. Now you're the one that everybody looks up to. What has that been like for you? And has it been a challenge? Has it really sunk in yet?
It feels great. You know, I'm so ready to move on to my next part in life, starting coaching and stuff like that. I love whenever like younger people ask for help because they want to learn, and I'm willing to help anybody.
Leadership and being a role model is always taught. You know, you learn it from other people. Who are some people in your life that you think taught you how to be a leader and how to be a role model?
I owe it all to Coach Kenzie Johnston and Logan Cope. My batting was they gave me batting lessons. Logan had my batting average record first, and then Kenzie had it, and then I broke it last year. And so I think I owe all my offensive stuff to them. They were amazing.
It's incredible to hear those names because it makes me feel old hearing you call them coach. But Coach Andre, when you hear those names, those are players that you've coached. What is it like to hear that? And obviously it makes all of us feel old, but to be able to pass on that leadership baton and bring some of those names back into the program and kind of teach what you taught them at one point.
Yeah, it's been exciting. Unfortunately for our program, Coach Logan has stepped aside for family reasons, and Coach Kenzie is actually working for the Washington Wild Things right now. So she is also stepped down, and I've brought my daughter Gabby, who graduated last year. She's on board now to help out a little bit with our pitching, and we just recently hired Brock Uriachi. He's going to be our assistant coach. So we do have a little changeover in that area, but yeah, I mean, Logan and Kenzie were just such great parts of our program, and you know, all the girls miss them this year, but I know they're still going to come check us out and keep tabs on what we're doing.
Coach, I want to transition into your schedule and the teams you'll be playing this year, especially inside the EOAC. We know how good that conference is in softball and how good it's been in the past. What kind of things do you expect out of the league this year, and what challenges do you think you're going to face inside the EOAC?
I think there's going to be a lot of new faces on pitching mounds. I know Lisbon and Southern Local lost 4-year pitchers. We lost a 4-year pitcher. But I think just at the top, you're looking at Columbiana. They're just always up there. United's got a bunch of young girls, and they were really solid last year. I would say those two probably be near the top. And then I think for us, I hope we're just battling. We're competitive. And like I said, Southern, Wellsville's got some girls coming back that were pretty good players last year. So we just want to be in that, in that mix as competitive as possible.
You mentioned you just want your girls to battle. I mean, when you're looking, let's look at our crystal ball here at the end of the season. What do you hope they take away from this season? And where do you hope that you are? It's a silly question. Where do you hope you are in the standings? But what do you hope they learn from this particular season?
Well, I think that one thing that I hope they learn is that if they go out, play their tails off the way that we think that they can, that we will be competitive, and we do belong on the field with any team. As far as the standings go, I mean, like I said, I'd love to be in that upper tier of our league because our league is no joke. I mean, every day you're out there playing somebody good. And I think that just helps us transition into the postseason. We had a good chance at a run last year. We fell just short, but I expect us to be right around the same, a little bit better, hopefully.
You both probably have good answers to this question because we know that East Palestine, the community and the school system, very supportive, very passionate about their athleticism and their athletics. What makes East Palestine feel like home to you? What makes you feel like you're at home when you get to put on that brown and orange and represent the Bulldogs?
Go ahead, Taylor.
I mean, I love the small town atmosphere. Everybody knows everybody. So whenever we go out, I'm proud to play as a Bulldog. It's gonna be good year.
I just enjoy the same type of thing. Like we'll have fans there that are just neighbors. They have no connection to any sport, and they come support everything, whether it's football, basketball, volleyball, and that is something to take pride in. And our girls learn that up through the years. Like I think Taylor said, she's proud to put that uniform on, and she's passing that on to our younger kids right now.
All right, I'm going to put Taylor on the spot, but Coach, I'm going to put you on the spot first. Your coaching style, who kind of led the way for you? Who do you embody whenever you feel like you take that diamond?
Well, I try to remain calm at all times, DJ, and then it never works. I have gone to the pitcher's mound to just stand there and wait for an umpire to come talk to me so I can yell at him. So it's not always, the best, but honestly, I worked with Ron Taylor. He's over at Hubbard right now. Mm-hmm. His daughter plays for Hubbard, Haley Taylor. I'm sure you guys know who she is. She's a heck of a pitcher. I came up coaching in Class B with Ron. We grew up next to each other, and I learned a lot from him, even though we're the same age. But just he was always, he had that good coaching demeanor, and I feel like most of the time I manage to keep it together.
Taylor, how about you?
I definitely do better whenever I have someone criticizing me. I'd rather someone yell at me and tell me what I'm doing wrong than someone that's going to sit there and not say a single word. I grew up with Coach Kevin McKinstry, so I've got that.
Well, inside, I don't know if it's an inside joke. Everybody knows Kevin, but I mean, as soon as you said that name, okay, now I get it. Understood. Ant, you got anything left?
Just make sure you remember that, Coach, and that when you're yelling at her next time that she asked for it, she wants that kind of coaching style. My last question, we've been asking a couple of coaches this, and we want to know spirit animals. We want to know what animal in the animal kingdom embodies kind of what you bring to the table. Coach, you have any kind of animal you think you can throw out that you think you bring out the most of?
That's a tough one, but honestly, I would like to say that whatever animal is kind of like a quiet, kind of sneaks up on you, maybe I grew up in Springfield, so I'll pick a tiger for sure, but I don't think Bigfoot's real. I'd pick Bigfoot. But I'd say tiger.
Oh, Taylor, who's your spirit animal?
Hopefully something fast, because I'm not very fast. So probably like a cheetah.
Cheetah.
Extra.
That fits.
On those bases.
That's perfect.
So a couple of dogs just picked two cats.
I know, man. I don't like where this is headed.
Whoa.
But we appreciate you both. Best of luck this year. We'll be watching East Palestine, always near and dear to our heart. That's where it all began. Coach Yeti Andre and Taylor Foster, we appreciate you so much. Best of luck this year.
Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
Oof.
The Yeti. Bigfoot, right?
Yeti.
I mean,
I don't know if Bigfoot's real.
I don't know if it's real. We're going. I love it.
It's real in East Palestine.
Yes, it is. Don't you worry about it. They will find Bigfoot, and it will be in the 44413. zip code. That interview means a lot to me because I love being able to promote my high school, my alma mater. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, for us, this is a special time of year. You're a diamond dog, as am I. It's why this company exists. Yeah, we do a lot in the other realms and the other sports, but you and I, we get extra perky this time of year.
Yep.
And we're grateful to be able to do what we do. Thank you to Coach Andre, Taylor Foster, for stopping by. Taylor was a nice surprise. I didn't see
Yeah.
that one coming.
Did not.
So-
it was a little curveball.
Well, and it was one of those things like our notes. We don't have notes on Taylor because we didn't know she was. So thanks, Coach Andre, always slipping in that curveball. Appreciate you. We'll make sure we get Taylor's player profile officially and get her the light that she deserves in all of the Lady Bulldog seniors as we move forward. Anthony, it is time. It is time to wrap this show up. It is time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical. You can visit them on the web at dickieelectric.com 24/7, 365. All right, pal, what's your spark?
My spark last night, I had a fun night. Georgia Tech softball walk-off 2-run home run against Auburn. Loved it. The call was great. I'll remember it forever. And that really got me amped up last night. I had some energy late in the night. When we had a walk-off home run, I'm like, there we go. And it got me through the rest of the evening and into the morning. So,
What time did you fall asleep last night then?
Huh?
What time did you fall asleep?
I'm earlier now. That hospital moved my sleep schedule around because it's impossible to sleep in that hospital. I tell you that. But probably like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Attaboy. Hey, way to be an adult. I
know.
appreciate you. That Mountain Dew, no Mountain Dew is affecting
That probably
you as
helps
well.
too.
Yeah, you're not up till 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. See, agua,
Water.
la agua. My spark is man, we're still playing hoops. Louisville's still out there, still balling. And we still have the All-Star games. As much as I want to turn that page and get spring completely on the schedule to push that sun up in the sky one more day for basketball, hey, man, I'm here for it. So congratulations to Louisville. We're all rooting for you. And naturally, congratulations to all of our All-Stars. Don't forget, deadline's tomorrow. To say yes, and then we're moving on to the next round of All-Stars to fill up the roster. So make sure you're asking your athletic director if you haven't been contacted already. Ask them if they got a letter, and you can always reach out, and we'll tell you exactly who we have on our roster as it stands right now. Final thoughts, Anthony?
Let's go. I'm ready for it. Everything that's coming up.
Special thank you to our friends at Greenwood Chevrolet, who always go the extra mile for you, and also our friends at Toyota of Warren, who continuously support us in every facet there is on YSN. And we have that sweet-looking Tundra that I get to drive around on a daily basis. I'm so grateful for. And it's all because of you. You make all of this possible, so we hope you had a good time. We hope we made you laugh, made you smile today, and we'll try to do it and do better tomorrow. Pat McAfee Big Night Out, sold out. That sucks. But we are going to do better tomorrow to be happier because it's Friday. We'll see you then right here on YSN Live.